I told you can't trust these. Now, Puffy done killed Tupac, man.
50 Cent went on stage last year and said this.
Maybe I said because he got Tupac.
You know, and I know, that everyone believes that Diddy was involved in both these shootings and had a direct involvement in your brother's death. That is what the streets have said for 27 years. That's why 50 Cent said it. That's why Eminem has said similar stuff. Would you be comfortable saying that you believe Diddy had nothing to do with it?
No, I wouldn't be comfortable saying that because I don't know. If you look at all the theories, the theory involving him is quite high on the list.
Ron, any comments? Any comments on the trial so far? You got to see the opening statement.
He's having his day.
He's having his day.
He's having his day. We trust the justice system.
Thank you, sir.
Netflix's newest documentary series presents a bold and engaging look at Tupac Shakur's life and tragic death, once again sparking debates that have surrounded his story for years. Instead of making direct accusations, the series highlights the cultural atmosphere, rising tensions, and public speculation linked to music mogul Sean "Diddy" Combs, revisiting long unanswered questions with clearer context and updated insight. The documentary provides a strong new viewpoint on one of hip-hop's most lasting and controversial mysteries.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there, with all due respect, but I appreciate you as a journalist asking. Thank you.
Because you listen, 7 years ago, I'd have been like, yo, did you hire somebody to kill Pac? But no, you do it like a journalist.
Yeah, no, I mean, we wouldn't even get into nonsense like that. You know what I'm saying? It's nonsense.
Which we never believe.
The series examines his long-standing and often tense relationship with Tupac Shakur, which Tupac's cousin William Idi Amin remembers as becoming increasingly strained over time. Their rivalry is placed within the peak of the East Coast-West Coast feud, on a cultural divide that defined the era. Through interviews, the documentary highlights the intense pressure, fierce competition, and shifting alliances of the time, illustrating how that conflict fueled years of rumors and speculation surrounding Tupac's 1996 death in Las Vegas.
Former president of Bad Boy, Kirk Burroughs, who alleged during this time, Diddy had him hiring a whole bunch of people and getting cars to drive to Las Vegas. And he is now very curious into why Diddy wanted to do this. And he said, in his opinion, he now believes that Diddy was behind.
Williams speaks candidly in his account. He portrays the tension between the two icons as intense, deeply rooted, and impossible to overlook, suggesting that Diddy may have felt challenged by Tupac's rising influence and independence. Rather than assigning direct blame, he encourages viewers to look at the wider context of the 1990s, noting that the turbulence of that period made it hard to clearly grasp everything happening at the time. Music insider Gene Deal shares a similar perspective, or explaining that the competitive pressure between the artists was overwhelming and may have placed significant strain on Diddy, adding further complexity to an already turbulent chapter in hip-hop history.
And change Biggs and Bad Boy in image. I get around, talked about how fly you was, how many girls you mess with, how many cars you drive, how much money you got, what you willing to do. He took his image. Pac was the first one on the scene wearing Versace shirts. He went and got the same Versace shirts Pac had. Which, all right, some dudes would do that. You would never catch me wearing something else, something that somebody else got. He was knocking down all the women that he thought Pac was knocking down. And what I mean is having sex with them. Why would you want to have sex with women you know for sure a dude that was once cool with you?
Expanding on Williams' remarks, Tupac's brother, Mopreme Shakur, shares his strong view that the events surrounding Tupac's death still deserve thorough review. He maintains that every aspect, from the cultural atmosphere of the time to the people linked to that turbulent era, should be re-examined if the complete truth is ever to be uncovered.
Diddy is going to take this case because Keefy D is people that he name dropped that you want to see if they're going to investigate.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm curious to see how they plan to deal with the case, because he, in his own admissions, mentions other people. You know, are they going to say what happened to these people? Yes, Puffy being one of them. I don't know where that's going to lead, but I do believe there were accomplices, and I don't think all of them have been looked at. So, you know, because over the years, you know, it's a lot of years, you know, amongst the family, we talk, we want to figure it out too. We thinking certain things too. So, you know, we're waiting to see if we can trust this process. I feel like it's bigger because I haven't heard anything about that part of the story from the prosecutor's office. I haven't heard anything about Puffy from the prosecutor's office, even though Keefy D implicates him on these videos that they claim they're using to indict him. Even you got a Crip affiliate from somewhere, but you still not gonna talk about the guy that he mentions by name on the thing. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's exhausting. You know, or you know, I'm waiting to see how far they go, because that's what everybody's talking about. That's what everybody's talking about. What about Puffy? You know, so it would be weird that the prosecutor's office wouldn't know and address it. That's why I don't know whether to trust this shit.
Mo Preem later shared that in Tupac's final moments, it seemed as though his brother was trying to say something important, a haunting memory that has remained with him over the years. And he says that this moment still drives his determination to seek answers about what truly occurred.
Because you got so many conflicting stories, right? You got some people that say that, you know, Tupac was moving in the hospital, he was, you know, talking in the hospital, but you being there, from your point of view, how was Tupac's condition?
By the time I got there, remember I was coming from LA. So by the time I got there, he had tubes in his throat, in his nose, in his mouth. So he ain't talk to me, not verbally. He was conscious. He was trying to talk. He did want to talk, but he didn't actually verbalize any words. I always, you know, that's one of my, gonna be one of the biggest mysteries in my life, because he was trying to tell me something. He was trying so hard. He was shaking the bed. He was looking at me, you know, with his big old eyes, you know, and I know he was trying to tell me something, but I don't know.
Something else I want to ask you, because I think it would be appropriate before we get off the Vegas thing, last thing, because I know I did an interview with Napoleon, and they all gave me their reasons why Afeni pulled the plug because of his condition, but I mean, it would be more appropriate since you was his brother. Afeni, her decision to pull the plug on him, from your point of view, what made her pull the plug, respectfully?
Because he had already flatlined a couple of times. And she didn't want him to keep going through that. So I think it was like twice before she, you know, let him go. And that's reasonable. You know what I mean? When I was, you know, when I found out,
Kirk Burroughs, a former Bad Boy executive, reflects on how the tension between Tupac and Diddy may have shaped the chaos of that era more than he first understood. William shares a similar view, noting that friction increased as Diddy supported Biggie's rapidly rising career while Tupac continued advancing his own independent path. From William's perspective, Diddy may have wanted a stronger creative partnership with Tupac, but their different ambitions led to a competitive atmosphere that deepened the divide. That charged environment eventually led to Tupac's 1994 visit to Quad Studios, a defining moment in hip-hop history, where he was ambushed and seriously injured. Although Diddy, Biggie, Ike, and others were reportedly present in the building, authorities never connected them to the shooting. Still, Tupac's later public remarks expressing doubt and mistrust kept speculation alive for years. Diddy has consistently denied any involvement, maintaining that neither he nor Biggie had any role in the incident. Gene Deal presents another angle, suggesting the shooting was a reflection of the intense pressure and volatile climate of the time. Together, these accounts illustrate the complicated relationships that shaped 1990s hip-hop, a period where ambition, loyalty, and rivalry often collided.
Tupac was going to get robbed at Quad Studios?
Well, I don't think I'm not going to say he knew exactly he was going to get robbed, but he knew he was going to get dealt with. Because he was up there with Andre Harrell, and he was with Jimmy Henchman. And even though I think Pac may have owed Jimmy some money, or he was being disrespectful with Jimmy, and Jimmy ain't the type of dude that you was going to be disrespectful for, because he had some real wolves. And Jimmy was about it himself. You know what I mean? So now, in that essence, Puff is up there in the office with him. They know they about to deal with Pac, you know what I'm saying? I don't know the extent that Jimmy told him what they was gonna do to Pac, or he's gonna get dealt with or whatever like that. But I know Puff had
In 2011, Dexter Isaac publicly stated that he was involved in the 1994 Quad Studios shooting, claiming he acted on instructions from a music industry figure who was allegedly present that night. His remarks introduced another dimension to an already complex and disputed story, becoming part of the wider network of claims, testimonies, and ongoing speculation tied to the incident. Isaac's account highlights how contested and heavily debated this chapter of hip-hop history still remains.
You know that he had another bracelet that was like a bicycle chain with charms on it, right? Just gonna say that, all right? He had the diamond chain on with the chain with diamonds at each length going through it, right? He had a big stone on the diamond ring and a smaller stone, one for $35,000 and the one for $20,000, all right? So even Stretch that did this shit, I took his bracelet too, and changed it and put my man's name on it and took off the name on it. So motherfuckers claiming that this even
so hold on, homie.
Claiming that he was Tupac's stepdaddy wrote me and wanted me to have my people meet him and give him back the chain and shit, talking about some redemption shit. You know, them niggas ain't
So hold on, hey Dex. So that day that happened, November 30th, 1994, it wasn't just Tupac and Freddie Nichols. Stretch was with them too?
Stretch was with them too, yeah. Stretch set the whole shit up. He was in cahoots. He was giving us play-by-play where they was at. On their way there, he was in communication with Jimmy and shit. You know, Jimmy promised him two big eggs and shit.
Wow, so he sold Pac out for a quarter brick, basically.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
And
Boy too.
Wow. Yeah.
Jimmy Henchman strongly denied any allegations connecting him to the Quad Studios shooting, maintaining that he had no involvement at all. His response adds to the competing narratives surrounding the incident, underscoring how much uncertainty and disagreement continue to surround this chapter of hip-hop history.
A photograph on one of your walls, and it had Tupac on it wearing a Henchman Entertainment t-shirt. Now, a few years ago, there was a guy named Dexter Isaac that came forward who claimed that you were connected to the Tupac shooting. Do you have anything to say about that?
No, 100%. I've never ducked from answering any Tupac questions, which I could understand if I don't know how Quad Studio morphed into, like I was in Vegas and was part of the shooters that actually ended in his demise. And let me say, me and Tupac were friends. And me and him were friends. I had nothing against Tupac. I liked him. He was younger than me. I'm sure that he looked up to me. There's many moments that me and Pac had that were very intimate. where he's talked to me about things that he was afraid of or things that he loved to do and all of those kind of things. Here it is, you have a prosecutor and you have a guy who's in jail for life. When they pulled Dexter down to interview him in regards to what he knew about me and Tupac and so on and so forth, I have no doubt at this point that Dexter probably was the guy or one of the assailants on Tupac. But Dexter's story just doesn't make sense. Dexter tells a story that I wanted a ring for my fiance, and so I tell him to get the diamond ring from Tupac so I can give it to my fiance, and so on and so forth. He tells this magical story. The only person that can believe such a story is Todd Kaminsky, who was the prosecutor who was trying to make some.
Henchman has consistently and strongly rejected any suggestion of involvement in the Quad Studios shooting, stating that he had absolutely no connection to the incident. His position becomes another element in the web of differing accounts, emphasizing how lingering questions and ongoing debates still surround the event many years later.
Clear, man, when Puffy came to LA, you used to give him protection, right? From the Southside Crips because he was scared of Suge Knight?
It speaks for itself, my brother. He was playing chess, and I guess we was playing checkers, cuz.
So he was really scared of Suge Knight like that, yo?
That's what it looked. That's what it sounded like, yeah.
Gene Deal recalls experiencing real fear as tensions continued to rise, explaining that the conflict surrounding Tupac escalated sharply after the release of Hit 'Em Up. He portrays the atmosphere as tense and unpredictable, with discussions reflecting the intense pressure and high stakes of that period. The documentary draws on these memories to show just how volatile and aggressively competitive the hip-hop landscape had become at the time.
Talk about that?
Yeah, so there's, Keefe D claims that there is this ongoing conversation. It happens on 3 different occasions, but most specifically when he and Puffy are at this place called Greenblatt's Deli on Sunset. And they're there. Things have spiraled out of control. Puffy's really concerned about, the welfare is his safety. And he tells Keefe D, man, I just need you to take care of this situation with Suge and Tupac. It's out of control. Tupac's on vinyl talking about killing all of our kids when they grow up. And, it's just become this really serious conflict. And he says, I just need you to take care of him. And Keefe D's like, that's no problem. That's what we do. And so an agreement was made, according to Keefe D, for an amount of money. And they kind of just let it go at that point in time. But of course, Keefe D knows in the back of his mind, this is what Puffy wants done. And they all end up out in Las Vegas. Suge's out there.
Before you say that, there's a couple things I want to talk about in Vegas. So when you say that Keefe got offered an amount of money, according to him, was there a dollar amount?
Yeah, so there was a dollar amount. But I think that, the nuances of this conversation are that, like, now I'll give you $1 million, whatever it takes. It's like exaggerated speech. But of course, when we interview Keefe D, he's like, yeah, that's the agreement amount, was $1 million.
So according to Keefe, he's claiming that Puffy offered him $1 million to kill Suge? Or Tupac?
Both. Yeah, both their names came up. And according to Keefe D, he says, Tupac's put himself on the list by all the talking that he was doing. But it was really about Suge because it was Suge's muscle.
Beyond Tupac, the documentary explores how Diddy has continued to be at the center of speculation, connected to other significant moments in hip-hop history. Regardless of their accuracy, and these narratives have fueled the ongoing scrutiny surrounding him, influencing public perception during a time marked by rivalry and intrigue.
$1 to try to take out Tupac and Suge Knight. Investigators early on already zeroed in on Keefe D because he is the uncle of Orlando Anderson, who was the main suspect in Tupac's unaliving. During this time, they believed that Keefe D was also in Vegas, and this is things that we have heard him say over the years in his multiple interviews, and one reason why he's on trial for the unaliving of Tupac. But then investigators really started to get curious when they found out that Keefe D was at the Peterson Museum the night that Biggie was unalived. Back in 1997, at the height of this investigation, police actually raided Keefe D's house for gang activity, and they seized one of the vehicles that were at his house because it matched the Chevy Impala description of the person who drove away after Biggie was unalived.
Keefe D was a shot caller for the Southside Crips and the uncle of Orlando Anderson. It was determined that Keefe D had been in Las Vegas along with his nephew, Orlando, the night Tupac was shot. Additionally, Keefe D's name had come up in the original Biggie investigation when it was discovered that he was at the party at the Peterson and he had access to a Chevy Impala.
After Tupac was shot, there was rumors on the street that Bad Boy Records owed the Southside Crips $1 million.
After seizing Keefe D's vehicle and raiding his house for gang activity, this is when investigators would first try to question Keefe D if he had any involvement in Biggie's unaliving. And at this point in time, he really didn't talk, and he told them that they were barking.
Kirk Burroughs reflects on the unusual details surrounding the night Tupac was shot, including the group's separate travel arrangements to the Mike Tyson fight, which added another layer to an already chaotic evening. The series looks back at the events that followed, while noting that Diddy has consistently denied any involvement and was never identified as a suspect by Las Vegas authorities. The documentary highlights how rivalry, ambition, and tension shaped the dynamic between Tupac and Diddy during that era.
Story to what I heard from somebody that I know is not, I know she's not lying because she had no reason to lie. First, she told me she saw somebody doing something to him, and she walked in and she thought, he never said nothing. He didn't even acknowledge her. So she's thinking she's under the radar. Next thing, she's hanging out in Miami, and, she comes back and says she don't know what happened, and she woke up, and so,
What did she say she saw?
Someone giving him head. That's as far as I'll go, and then you could do the math.
Were they famous? Did she say they were famous?
Oh no, they wasn't famous. They was an assistant working with her. Yeah. So.
An assistant. I want to guess, but I'm not.
She didn't tell me who no, it's not somebody that you would know. It was somebody that, she came there, she worked doing photography and some type of media work where they shot ads and things like that. They were there to work, and she walked in the wrong bathroom and caught the wrong thing.
Oh, wow.
So, if she got drugged, it probably was some videotapes made to tell her to shut the hell up.
The documentary makes it clear that Tupac's death is not its sole focus. It also examines Diddy's relationship with Biggie, questioning how simple and straightforward that partnership truly was. Those close to the artist suggest the dynamic was more layered than it appeared publicly, shaped by loyalty, ambition, and underlying tension. Together, those elements defined one of hip-hop's most iconic alliances and continue to spark discussion decades later.